everyone. Thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Briefing. Israel has just launched an airstrike against a Syrian military base near Quneitra on the Syrian side of the Golan Heights. The National Defense Forces, or NDF, a pro-Assad militia, claims that the Israeli military attacked the Nabafawar military base in the area, leaving 3 of their militants dead. The NDF went on to tell the Associated Foreign Press that it was unclear if the base had been damaged by an airstrike or by artillery fire. The attack comes just days after an errant Syrian mortar landed in the Israeli side of the Golan Heights, causing no damage, but promoted an Israeli retaliatory military strike against positions believed to be held by the Syrian army. In a statement released to the press, the IDF said it was not familiar with today's attack. It's now been 7 days since Palestinian prisoners began their hunger strike in Israeli jails, and at least 186 strikers have already given up. It's estimated that nearly 1,200 prisoners are still refusing to eat under the instructions of prisoner and Fatah party leader Marwan Barghouti, but 100 were reported to have dropped out of the strike on Friday, and at least 86 more elected to stop striking on Saturday. Though many are dropping out of the strike, many more may be taking their places. The total number of striking prisoners has steadily been rising since last Monday when the strike began. Marwan Barghouti, who developed the strike as a means to achieve his demands, is a convicted terrorist serving 5 life sentences for the murder of at least 5 innocent people during the Second Intifada. His demands include installing public payphones in every prison wing, the abolishment of solitary confinement, the discontinuation of administrative detention, increasing family visits to twice a month and from 45 minutes to an hour and a half each, free entry to visitors under 16 years old, removing security restrictions on visitations, such as cancellation of visits due to security concerns, and more available television and the restoration of academic studies for prisoners. Roughly 6,500 Palestinians are currently being held by Israel under a range of offenses and crimes. Senior Palestinian officials are set to arrive in Washington ahead of Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas's scheduled meeting with President Donald Trump. PLO Secretary General and Chief Palestinian Negotiator Saeb Erekat is expected to lead the delegation in meetings with senior White House officials, including Middle East peace envoy Jason Greenblatt and Trump's son-in-law and advisor Jared Kushner. The Palestinian delegation will also include Palestinian intelligence chief Majed Faraj and Abbas's senior economic advisor Mohammed Mustafa. Trump is slated to host Abbas at the White House on May 3rd to discuss reviving the Middle East peace process. Last month, during a meeting with Jason Greenblatt in Ramallah, Abbas was quoted as saying that a historic peace deal with Israel is possible under President Trump. According to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency spokesman Chris Gunness, Sohail al-Hindi, the chairman of UNRWA's Palestinian Workers Union and a Palestinian school principal, is no longer working with the agency. The terms of al-Hindi's leaving were not specified, however, as Gunness said UNRWA doesn't discuss the terms of departure of individual staff members. What we do know is that al-Hindi was accused by Israel of being a political and leading member of Hamas, the international recognized terror organization that rules over the Gaza Strip. Al-Hindi denies all charges, and though the coincidence of events point to the assumption that Israel was correct about him, UNRWA insists that the internal investigation they conducted and al-Hindi's suspension preceding his departure were independent of Israeli influence. This is hardly the first time UNRWA was in hot water in the Palestinian territories either. Israel has long accused the agency's staff of incitement to terror. Just this last February, 40 UNRWA school employees in Gaza had their Facebook pages exposed, showing Holocaust denial videos, pictures celebrating Hitler, and tons of incitement to terror and anti-Semitism. Another UNRWA staffer who works for the agency as an engineer, Muhammad al-Jamasi, was also exposed in March of this year to have been elected to a Hamas political position as well. Chris Gunness, in an interview with the Times of Israel, said he and UNRWA are aware of these issues and are, quote, looking into them as part of our ongoing commitment to maintaining the agency's neutrality, end quote. In spite of 4 ongoing investigations and a general feeling of dissatisfaction from the public, Prime Minister Netanyahu and the Likud party have regained their lead in the polls over close rival party Yesh Atid, headed by Yair Lapid. According to the poll conducted by Israel's Channel 2 last week, Wednesday and Thursday, if elections were called today, the Likud would lose only 2 seats, going from 30 to 28. Yesh Atid would more than double from 11 to 24 seats, but would still fall behind their Likud counterparts. The survey questioned a sample of 503 Israelis and has a margin of error of plus or minus 4.4. The results show the Joint Arab List receiving 13 seats, the Zionist Union receiving 12, Jewish Home Party would get 10 seats, Kulanu, Shas, and United Torah Judaism parties would each get 7, and both Israel Beitenu and Meretz would receive 6. Additional questions revealed that 61% of Israelis disapprove of the work of Prime Minister Netanyahu, while only 33% are approving. That's all for now. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.